So when I worked as a school social worker in high school, serving mostly low-income families, I met a student I will call Anna. Anna had faced more adversity in her 17 years, probably than many of us in a lifetime. Her family had to move around multiple times in a neighborhood because of unstable housing. Her mother, a single parent working multiple jobs, often needed Anna's help caring for her younger siblings after school. Money was always tight, and she also had to navigate a neighborhood where walking to school wasn't always safe. So on paper, the odds against Anna were overwhelming. But what stood out to me was not her hardships, it was her vision. When I asked her about her future, she got excited. She told me that she wanted to become a healthcare professional, a nurse or a psychologist, professions that allow her to help others. And she didn't just say that as a vague dream. She already had a plan. Graduate from high school, go to college, and work part-time to help cover tuition and expenses. Despite all the challenges surrounding her in the present, Anna held on to a vision for tomorrow. That capacity, what researchers call future orientation, can be a powerful force for resilience in young people growing up in adversity. So today I wanted to share with you what future orientation is, why it matters for resilience, and what we can do to help nurturing it in the children we work with. Let me start by defining what future orientation is. So broadly, future orientation is how much young people think about, believe in, and plan for their future. It's their ability to envision a future self. Future orientation can be think of in different parts. So first, future orientation is about seeing the future in different life domains, which could include education, work, relationships. In other words, young people envision multiple aspects of themselves, of their future selves. Second, future orientation is about believing in the future. This connects to the motivational component of future orientation, which includes how much value young people place on their goals, whether they think those goals are achievable, and the sense of control they feel over achieving them. Third, future orientation is about acting towards the future. This could include exploring and trying out different opportunities, learning new skills, seeking advice, making plans, and committing to choices that help bring those goals to life. So in Anna's case, she didn't just say, I wanted to be successful someday. She had a concrete plans to graduate from high school and go to college. That is the behavioral component of future orientation that turns ideas and hopes into real action. So why does future orientation matter? Because children facing adversity often live in an environment where the future feels uncertain or unpredictable. Poverty, trauma, family separation, or dangerous neighborhood can always make tomorrow feel less secure. So this means that if a young person doesn't see value in their future or doesn't believe their future is achievable, they're less likely to make good choices. These stressors can push young people to focus narrowly on immediate survival and prioritizing short-term rewards. But on the other hand, research shows that when children develop greater future orientation despite adversity, they're more likely to stay engaged in school and pursue educational and career goals. And so future orientation doesn't make adversity go away, but it gives children a reason to keep moving forward. In my own research, I've studied how early life experiences shapes children's neurocognitive and behavioral development. And of course, one key question I've asked myself is that what helps children do well even when they experience adversity? And one particular factor that my PhD advisor, Dr. Asaf Oshri, inspired me to look at is future orientation. And here, I wanted to share two studies with you from my PhD lab that focused on maltreated youth. So in one study, we used a longitudinal data set to compare maltreated with non-maltreated youth and looked at their risky behaviors and psychosocial outcomes. And we then wanted to see if future orientation made a difference, and it did. To assess future orientation, we asked adolescents questions such as how likely they think they will go to college, how likely they think they will get a job they want, or how likely they think they will have a successful career. What we found is that future orientation promoted social competence and social self-esteem and social competence in all adolescents, and in particular, adolescents who experienced child maltreatment but were able to maintain high levels of future orientation were less likely to engage in delinquent and substance use behaviors. The other study looked at the developmental trajectories of future orientation among maltreated youth over time, following them from early adolescence into young adulthood. And we found that not all youth follow the same developmental patterns. Some maintained high levels of future orientation over time. Some started low but showed growth, and others started high but declined. And more importantly, we found that those who maintained high future orientation over time, or those whose future orientation increased over time, were more likely to achieve young adulthood milestones. So together, these studies show that future orientation promotes resilience, but more importantly, it is malleable and it can grow over time. So what does this mean for those of us who work with children and families? The key message is that future orientation is not fixed, and there are things we can do to help make a difference. So at the individual level, one of the most powerful things we can do is simply ask future-focused questions. Questions such as, what do you hope to do next year? Who do you want to become as you grow older? What's one thing you're excited about this week? These questions help children visualize their future selves and reinforce that their future matters. We can encourage children to write letters about their ideal selves or write letters to their future selves. And through visualization exercises, invite children to imagine their future self, describe that person's goals and the steps needed to get there. These small activities can make their goals concrete and feel possible. Encourage goal setting and planning. This means helping children break long-term goals into smaller and manageable steps, guiding them to create action plans with concrete timelines and steps, and supporting them in reflecting and tracking their progress. Celebrate small steps. Even when a child takes a tiny action towards a goal, acknowledge it. The simple message builds confidence and their motivation. We can also help them see how today's efforts connect with tomorrow's payoff. So for Anna's case, she knew that she would be getting a head start on her path to getting a degree in psychology by completing an AP Psych class in high school. Practice decision-making skills is also very important. Encourage children to weigh different options, think through possible consequences, and make thoughtful choices. These small practices build their ability to think and plan ahead. Exposure to diverse experiences also matters. When children try new activities, whether it's joining a journalism club or shadowing a nurse or doctor at a hospital, they expand their sense of what's possible for their future. We can also support caregivers in fostering children's future orientation. And one way is by encouraging them to simply express belief and encouragement. We can also encourage caregivers to regularly talk to their children about their goals, checking in on progress, and help them plan next steps. And finally, caregivers can support children in pursuing activities they enjoy, allowing them to explore their interests. At the school and a community level, it makes a difference when teachers and community members communicate high expectations and show children that their learning and efforts are valued. After-school programs, sports, or youth clubs can expose children to new experiences and allow them to learn new skills. Connecting with mentors and role models like older peers, community leaders, and professionals can give children concrete, real examples of what they can achieve. And lastly, giving children opportunities for leadership and contribution can foster a sense of agency and show children that their actions matter. When we nurture future orientation, helping children see, believing, and act towards their future, we give them more than hope. We give them tools to navigate adversity with purpose and resilience, and every small step we take can make a lasting difference in a child's life.